Hi, it's Tootie Tagerly coming to you from San Francisco, California, about early afternoon on a Tuesday today. And today we're going to talk about playing with control and possibility, and more accurately, shifting from control into possibility. So I am super familiar with this topic because, man, I have a deep inner planner. I like to know how my life is laid out and what the plan's going to be and what the next plans are going to be. I do it in my personal life, and I do it at work very, very tightly. And a lot of what I've heard just recently this week from clients is that anxiety and uncertainty come up when things are out of your control, when you're really close to the end of that contract with a partner and something happens at the end, unforeseen negotiations, a stakeholder coming in and doing something else. Things are out of your control when you get your survey feedback back, let's say from an employee survey at the company, and it does not go how you wanted. Things are out of your control when you are the CEO of a company who's getting ready and in conversations around potential acquisitions or mergers, and something happens, whether it's a war or the stock market or something happens, and the potential buyer pulls out. For me, as a planner, when these things happen, I double down and try and control and create a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, just risk mitigation for everything. I immediately jump into the, well, if this thing's going wrong, if this thing isn't going as expected, how do I pivot? How do I learn from this? How do I do something different? But it all is with an atmosphere of control, really. Hmm. Recently, I've been looking forward to a giant group trip to Yosemite. It's an annual trip that we take every year. It's about, I don't know, maybe 10 different families and groups, and we've done it for the past 4 years, I believe, but not in 2020. And we ended up canceling this year. We were camping, and it was going to be snowing and raining in Yosemite. So I get it. We made the group decision, and that's what was happening. But I could just feel that anguish and anxiety because I had taken 2 days off. I was planning to be in this space with people that I loved from Thursday to Sunday, and I could feel the anguish. And I could see my brain, the wheels of my brain turning and be like, all right, if I don't do this, what am I going to do with the Thursday and Friday? Okay, how can this still be a special time? What can I do for my children to really have some stuff with their friends? And I created one alternate plan. That didn't work out due to an unfortunate accident and health issue with my partner. Created another plan, and I could feel myself getting more and more anxious as the different layers of the plans fell through, and it was really hard for me to relax into possibility. So, some lessons. First, as we all know, through the pandemic and the war, it's impossible to be in full control of everything. We might like to think that in our little narrow world, whether the narrow world is like me and the work I do today or what my team does, that we control it all, but it is impossible. Something's going to happen. You're gonna have a very important interview and your cat throws up over your beautiful pantsuit on your way out, or there's a crazy accident. Um, and I am guilty of trying to have been in control of everything before, um, but it doesn't work. A quick anecdote. 2 weeks ago, for the first time, I ran a workshop with, a large number of people in it. And about 5 minutes before we were going to go on, I realized I had no internet. So this was a huge freak out moment. But I'm actually super proud because I managed to run it off my phone and it felt okay. It helped that I had a co leader who I always teach with who was able to help hold me and help hold the space. And it also helped that it had been something that I'd done a lot before. What was really funny is I shared this anecdote with one of my clients. He's a CEO, so he has a lot of resources. And he was like, oh, yeah, I have two different ISPs at home. So there's the main and then there's the backup. He has that figured out. And you can control up to certain extents of your life, but not everything. So it's impossible to be full control of everything. You might be able to control some concentric circles, but global geopolitical stuff, no, that's not possible. Supply chain issues, no, not possible. So with that, the second part of it is that we can try to control all of our stuff, but when you start to put your arbitrary timelines, deadlines, controls, agendas on top of other people, it can really, really cause resentment. If you're the boss, if you're the boss of a group at work, if you're the boss of a nonprofit group, whatever it is, you can tell other people what to do. And you can do it. And it works really well, actually, on the short term to get things done. But in the long term, over time, nobody likes this. Nobody likes being told what to do. People like having their own autonomy and freedom and choice and input. And that's kind of the antithesis of control. That breeds resentment and not good feelings with others. So what do you do about it? Um, Two things. You focus on the C's, I call it. Creativity, curiosity, and connection. And while this doesn't always work for me, cue the Yosemite example, when I was teaching this workshop 2 weeks ago, I actually connected with the energy of my co-presenter, connected with the people who had shown up to take this restorative justice workshop, and kind of went into the sense of, all right, I can connect with them. I can be creative. I know the material. I can hold the space, and I can be super curious about what does the fact that my internet just went out right before a workshop, how does this change me as a teacher? How can I find something different? And in that scenario, I was able to focus on these and actually run a super fun workshop. So focus on the C's is one way around this, which just opens up much more possibility. And then the second, which one of my teachers just pointed out recently, is that in the work I do, in the work many of us do as creative human beings, and I believe all humans are creative, when you're being really creative, it creates possibility and openness. A brainstorm opens up all these possible different futures and directions in front of us. And that's why when you're in a brainstorm, there are no dumb ideas because we're not picking, we're not narrowing, we're not selecting. That energy is what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And that's possibility. And it's kind of funny because the unknown, uncertainty, these like curveballs that are thrown us that we want to try and control, another reaction to it is to think creatively, think about possibility, think about all the future branching paths and options that are still ahead of us right now. And for people like me who tend to be planners, who tend to be controlling, part of the trick, the experiment is it okay to keep it open for a little bit? You might not have to decide right now what the plan B is or what you're going to do. What if you keep it open for a couple hours? What if you keep it open for a couple of days and kind of think and imagine and dream into the possibility? I think that loosens up control. All right, wrapping up, talking about playing with control and possibility because you can't be in full control of everything, much as I would like it. If you work with others, controlling others inevitably causes long term resentment, even if short term it helps you get something done. So, what do? Switch to focus on these three emotions: creativity, curiosity, connection. And remember that the chaos, the wrench that's just been thrown in your plans, that opens things up. It's analogous to an energy of creativity. So if you're a planner, if you're a controller, if you tend to control things, what would it look like to keep the possibilities open, to keep all the future branches open for a little bit of time? All right, that's it for today. I'll see you next week.